Are people watching?
We are in.
We are
live.
We're live. We're good to go. All right. So, look. First of all, hi. I'm Jordan, aka Kairoon. To my left, I have Magic, aka Nick. Oh no, hang on. We're having a few small technical difficulties as we do our intro. That's fine. And to my right, I have Seb. Seb tries to play. Welcome to episode 1 of Life Plus Gaming. This is a podcast-style format we're starting today. And what we're doing is we're interviewing different people, streamers, game developers, local people in our community, in the Australian community, and we're talking to them about their life as a gamer or how gaming incorporates into their life. So for today's episode, we're going to do something close to home. We're actually going to have a bit of a chat with Seb, as Seb has been streaming for a little over a year now, year and a half, something like that.
Yep.
And I guess really the first thing I want to know, Seb, the thing I'm so curious about is I want to hear your story. I want to understand the story of how you became a streamer, why you became a streamer, how you balance all those aspects. Talk to me.
Sure. Well, I mean, when I first started streaming, it all happened during lockdown. So majority of people in 2020 and 2021 were at home all day. 15 minutes, we could go for a walk in the sun, and I spent a lot of time playing with my kids, gaming online, and we decided to just give it a go. Why not make a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, and we just started playing. So the start of it was because of my children.
Yeah. So have you been gaming your whole life, or did you start gaming? Talk to me about that.
Look, to be honest, I always sort of played games growing up. I'm in my 40s now, so in the 90s and the early 2000s, we had games. Like, we played PlayStation.
Yeah,
we
sure.
had an Atari back in the early 90s that we played.
The old SNES consoles,
yeah,
Nintendo 64s.
The floppy disks, where you'd play half a game and then you have to change the disc to upload the next part of the game. And
I can't relate to this. You two are just having a moment here.
going
back and forth.
Exactly, the retro stuff, mate.
Floppy disks were coasters for me.
When you got to that second disc and it didn't work, that was fantastic.
Oh, you got water stuff on them. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So I always sort of played a little bit, but I was more into my sports. I loved football and basketball and surfing, and as I got a bit older and the kids got a bit older, to bond with them because they weren't really big into sports, I started gaming.
Yeah, okay.
So Red Dead Redemption 2, we played a lot of Uncharted, your Tomb Raiders, and then obviously as the kids got older, they started playing online.
Yeah.
And obviously Fortnite, War Thunder for my older son, Roblox. It sort of evolved like that. We made a channel. We did start originally on Twitch because that's what everyone did.
It's the biggest streaming platform, right?
Yeah, and to try and be a little bit different, I ended up deciding to go all out on YouTube. Instead of doing a Twitch stream, then clipping onto YouTube, I thought, why not just spend all my energy on one avenue? Yeah, correct. Yeah. And that's where we just started, and it sort of evolved that way.
Yeah, okay. Why YouTube over Twitch? So you're new to streaming. You hadn't been doing a lot of gaming. If you were someone new to the industry, Twitch would be the place to go. Why did you pick YouTube?
Great question. In all honesty, I wanted to pick a platform I could do all types of media. So stream, long form videos, YouTube Shorts. It's literally Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, all in one. Yeah. Plus YouTube, obviously, with the long form videos. I didn't see the point of, going on Twitch, streaming on that. And I know for a fact Twitch is, compared to YouTube, Twitch is actually quite easier to grow a community. I'm not saying it's easy.
It's definitely not easy.
But what I'm saying, compared to YouTube, though, YouTube's not known for streamers. It's not known for
it's
gamers.
relatively new in the streaming platform market. It's been around for a while now, but it's not as big as Twitch, I guess.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I didn't mean to offend you if I did, but no, I know it's not easy. But the way I saw it was I was going to put all my eggs into one basket. And I ended up picking YouTube as what I was going to do for my long form format. And then I picked TikTok as my other side, so my short form. And TikTok just grew ridiculously, very quickly, and stayed very consistent. And YouTube's been a gradual sort of climb. Yeah.
That's cool.
What was your first hurdle when you sort of jumped in? Obviously coming from somebody who didn't really have much to do with the online live presence scenario. What was your biggest hurdle when you first jumped in?
Challenges and roadblocks.
It can be such a daunting experience for a lot of streamers when they first get in to go, what do I actually do?
Yeah, sure. Not having any of the technology to stream. I had no idea what I was doing. We started off... I stream off a PlayStation 5. I still do that, even though I have a PC.
From time to time.
But I used to remote play my PlayStation 5 through my Mac.
Yeah,
So I have a desktop Mac.
Did you just swear?
I'm sorry. And we did that for, I reckon, 6 months. Drew and I would play The Last of Us, and that was on Twitch when we first started, to one person or 0 people for 3 or 4 hours. In fact, we had more people who would watch him play than me, because he's better than I am.
Yeah. For those who can't see, we've got Drew in the background behind the camera.
Yes, we have a live studio audience here, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it was more so not having anything or any idea of what to do. So, gradually I got more, I guess I got some monitors and I got a PC. And in all honesty, I should really shout out a good mate of mine, the Xbox Cowboy, because he's been a Twitch streamer for years. And I went to him for every question. I bothered him so many times. And he just helped me pretty much learn how to turn on a stream, how to make a thumbnail, what to use, what are systems I use now, and I still use them today.
Yeah, so it's that community aspect and like leaning on people you know and things like that, and that's kind of where you got your grassroots from, started on the PS5 and went from there.
It's 100%.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to backtrack a little bit. I feel like we've gone too far ahead. I want to go backwards first. I'm so fascinated, right? So there's obviously a stigma still around gaming, I think, and a lot of parents are unsure about, their kids playing games. Is it good for them? Is it positive for their mental health? Does it have value, or is it a complete waste of time? And we're seeing gaming on the rise more and more and more. Why did you decide to jump into gaming so heavily? Like you were into sports, you're into trades, obviously off camera. I know that you did some work in the building industry and things like that. Then gaming. Why did you welcome it so much? Where did you see the value in it? I want to understand from your perspective as a dad. Why gaming?
Well, it's the most important part of the streaming thing for me was the bonding with my kids. A lot of parents find it hard that if they've got children who don't actually have the same hobbies that they had, and accepting that. So I was a big sports person. I was the president of the basketball club. I coached my kids. I coached 5 other teams. I was always into sports. And my children, who amazing kids they are, weren't heavily into sports. So it was whether I accepted and tried to find another avenue to bond with them, or I just keep doing my own thing. And I just did not want to miss out on my kids. So they love gaming. I said, you know what? It's not about me anymore. It's about them. It's about how do I bond and grow our relationship. And the last 3 years has been amazing.
That's powerful. That's cool. I really, really like that.
Yeah.
What have you learned from gaming? So now you jumped into the gaming scene. You're gaming with your kids. What are some of the things you've actually taken out of being a gamer? Like, what are the pros? What are the values? What do you see? If there are any other parents that are watching or unsure, or their kids are looking at getting into gaming, or they're like, oh my god, my son just plays Fortnite all day long and he doesn't do his homework and he doesn't do this. What advice do you have for them? Because I know you've got a pretty large community you've amassed now, and I know that we talked a little bit off camera, but you've got some other parents that you guide or you talk to, or they're big on seeing their kids on your stream and game with that. Like, what advice do you have?
Well, I think the gaming community as a whole can be extremely toxic.
Yes. Let's touch on that in a second.
So lots of bullying and lots of negativity, lots of swearing. And I mean, if someone's better than someone else at a game, there's a lot of talk. Yeah. So a lot of trash talk. A lot of trash talk. And one of the biggest things I've tried to build in my community is not having that. Having... Like, and I've got a lot of people in my community who play with us on almost every stream, and they're amazing people like Raven and Robotic and Jay the Menace, just to name a few. Obviously, Kid Harper, Frozen Asteroid. I'm going to throw a few names to my community, and they're all sort of at that age, that early teenage years, and they can get angry, they can get upset, and I've sort of over the last 6 months taught them how to not allow their emotions to get the benefit of them, because I don't want bullying to be a trait of a game. I don't want toxicity to take over my community. So I'm big on positivity and touching grass and mental health. unfortunately, I have had to ban people from my streams, from playing with us, from my whole community.
Yeah, wow.
I've four kids, that were there from the start, and they're no longer part of our community because unfortunately, they just did not stop it. And I've got to protect the majority of the community.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, it happens. But I think if any parents are watching, the only thing I can say is let your kids get involved. Let them enjoy it. There's obviously a time and a place. You got to, you want to see the sun. Mental health is huge and very, very important. You should get sun, hug a tree. Not that I'm like that, but you get what I'm saying. There has to be a balance. But what I've always tried to grow is that positive community where we're all here to have fun. And
safe space.
Yeah, safe space. And I've taken kids aside in my Discord, or I chat to them and go, look, what was today about? Why were you swearing? And I had to mute you, mate, because it wasn't a great look. It didn't sound great. And then you find out something happened, and you have a bit of a chat offline. I don't want to say I'm parenting them, but I kind of feel like I have an obligation to the community that I've built because I call them kind of my family, because once I'm on, we're together.
Yeah.
We're talking, we're hanging out. They tell me everything. I find out their aspirations.
Almost like a big brother.
Kind of.
Like a role model, yeah. And gaming is such a community-based thing, do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what aspect of gaming you're in, whether you're in your local D&D club or you've got your Discord and your community that you play with there. It's really, really cool that you set the bar, do you know what I mean? You're not just looking for viewers, you're not just looking for people to come in on your stream, no matter what, they can talk trash or they can bully other people. You're prepared to see people leave your stream and get that viewer count down just to promote a positive gaming experience for people in there.
I couldn't have said better.
That's
you
really
said it
powerful.
perfectly. Yeah,
that's really, really cool. I think there needs to be more of this promoted in the gaming industry in total. We've got such massive progression in diversity and culture and everything like that. But the toxic gaming culture or the trash talk that goes down in the chats, whether it be this game, that game, they all have it. You don't hear a lot of people squashing that or putting that down. It just flies under the radar. It's almost considered the normal.
And it's terrible.
It is 100%.
I get targeted endlessly. And I don't talk about it very often, but I get people in my chats who will just name call, and they'll attack me for being older, being a parent, playing with kids. So I don't need to go where what they're calling me. Yeah. And it comes across occasionally, and I laugh it off, and I just end up banning them. Because at the end of the day, I don't want it in my stream. It's not true. They're getting a kick out of calling a streamer a name. They think it's funny. They have it 2 seconds of laughter, but once they're banned, they're not part of the community. They're not part of the game, whatever we're playing, and they can't chat to us anymore.
Yeah.
I'm an adult though. I know how to react to people calling me names. I've played sports. I've been part of big clubs, and I've been in the construction industry. So swearing and getting called names is, unfortunately, I'm used to it. But
you know how to handle it.
Yeah, but kids don't. Kids will retaliate. They'll It goes back and forth.
And how can people handle it? So obviously it doesn't matter whether you're streaming or just social media in general, digital platforms as a whole. You might post a photo, you might post a video, you might, if you're into gaming, you post a funny game clip, and you see those hate comments come through. How do you deal with that personally, or how would you advise other people to deal with it? Because when I see that stuff, what I like to train, the people at PG, and we do a lot of stuff on socials and a lot of posting and all of that, and we almost feel like a bit of empathy towards the person that posted that. It's like, one, thank you for stopping and acknowledging our content or our stream or whatever. Like, thank you for your time. But if they're taking time out of their day to be negative or something like that, I'm like, I normally go to the guys or our media team and I'm like, just take it with a pinch of salt. Like, almost have empathy for that person. We don't know what's going on in their lives. Nobody has any idea what's going on in anyone's lives. How would you advise? How do you advise the young people in your community to deal with that? Like,
You ever turn a negative comment into a positive? You ever talk to them? And like a lot of times they'll want to say one thing and then they'll disappear.
Yeah.
I reply to every comment, whether it's on my TikToks, my YouTube, Twitter, whatever it is. And again, they're all toxic wherever you can go. And I've had probably more toxic negative feedback on my TikToks because I have 18,000 followers, and I put myself out there on stupid TikToks and little videos.
I've seen some you running across the screen with the different masks on. Like, funny. Yeah, being Pokemon.
I dance, I sing, I wear
the
skirts.
Fortnite one. Yeah, that was funny.
I thought I picked up
the real life Fortnite one. That was pretty funny.
That was my nephew, mate.
If you haven't watched Seb's TikTok, go SebTries2Play, follow his TikTok. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I always reply, but I don't reply in an angst or an angry or in a negative way. I always say thank you, or like depending on how they've written it, I go, how would you do better, or what do you like? I always ask them a question because I want an interaction. I want them to converse with me, and if I can get that, I usually can turn them around. And then all of a sudden they're playing on my Fortnite stream.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. Sometimes I get angrier.
You try.
And then if it gets to a point where I think, you know what, you've crossed the line, because it does, you just ban them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to. You got to protect you. You got to protect the brand, your page, your own mental health as well. I mean, if you get hit so many times, you start thinking, should I be doing this?
Yeah. It can, some of the comments out there, they can actually hit pretty heavy.
I got another question on that front, is because I've seen it happen on other streams before. How do you stop the community from getting involved?
Ooh.
So if you've got a negative comment that comes in, because the community can be very protective of the streamer, how do you stop the rest of the community jumping onto that one person that's had a negative comment?
Have you seen this on one of my streams? Have you? It has happened. It has happened. Really.
I haven't seen this at all. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a whole bunch of people in my community who are really protective. Yeah. And if anyone comes in on a stream or on a TikTok, and it happened this week, a guy had a crack at me for something, and then 3 of them went off at him. And I just remind them, I'm an adult. I don't need you to back me up. I appreciate it. I always say I appreciate it because they feel like they're part of the team.
Yeah,
they're part of the SebTries2Play
It's a
team.
community element again. Yeah, everyone's donning the same jersey.
100%, you know. So I always take them, but I just say, look, we don't need to attack this guy. He's obviously come from somewhere. It depends what they've said as well, because there's really bad, and then mediocre, and then there's like, oh, you know what, I'll have a chat to the guy. But if I'm streaming and I see something that I'll ask the question, where are you coming from? What do you mean? Because I want to interact with that person. Yeah. If I can turn them, I'll try and turn them. I want them to be a fan. I want them to be a positive, you know, part of the community, or I want to be a positive influence on them. You know, it's very easy for me to go, F you, and swear at them back, because that's what most streamers do. I've watched a few.
Oh, there's some toxic streamers out there, man. Hey.
Well, I mean, I have one stream a week where we're allowed swearing.
Yep.
Friday night adults stream, but all the kids still join. But I tend to be family friendly. I try to be, at least, because that's sort of the target audience. My kids are 14 and 11. I'm playing with all their mates, plus the mates we've made over the year from all over the world. You know, Uganda, UK, America, obviously, all over Australia. Like one of my best, I have a channel member, paid up member from New Zealand, who comes in on every stream. If I wasn't a positive stream, I don't reckon I'd have half those people.
Yeah. And it's almost as if the community is looking for that. They're looking, you know, the greater gaming community as a whole, you know, positivity, healthy gaming habits. You know, I want to go back, and you said something before, touching grass, and that's a bit of a trending thing at the moment. But for people that don't know what trending grass is, touching grass, my apologies. I want to talk on that. What is touching grass? You know, what is
seeing the sun?
Shooting hedges. Getting outside, getting off your PC or your PlayStation.
But that's not gaming. That's not gaming, man.
But it's health, and it's being. It's like everything in moderation. You can play for 6 hours, but at least go outside for a bit, get some fresh air, see the sun, go for a walk with the dog, mow your lawns.
Shoot some Fortnite TikToks.
Do you know what funny? I'll tell you funny. So, Frozen Asteroid is my nephew, and he's the one that I pick up off the grass. He's allergic to grass, and I didn't know. I forgot, or I didn't realise. And the poor kid come up with rashes all down his legs and arms, and all for the TikTok. It's all good, but he was willing to do it. He complained about it for like 2 hours.
Yeah, so
later.
you might have to touch concrete.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I felt so bad though. But yeah, you know, get outside. It's important mental health.
It is.
And being stuck in the dark, because let's be honest, all of us game with the curtains down. As much fun as it can be, it's not good for your legs. It's not good for your back. It's not good for your mental health all the time. Like, play in moderation.
Set limits.
Yeah.
Have breaks. I have so much passion for all this sort of stuff because I've been gaming a very long time myself. And for the first 10 years of a gamer, I had no balance. Do you know what I mean? I was a classic WoW player. I was eating my meager ring and my Coke every day. I was doing it for 8 hours a day. You know, I had a part-time job in school and stuff like that. And there was no elements of fitness in my life at all. Shout out to the mug. And it wasn't until I was about 18, 19, 20 that I found, you know, I stepped away from gaming for a while. And I got into my fitness, I got into my health, I got into all those aspects of life. And then a bit later in my 20s, like 22, 23, 24, I then brought gaming back into it, and I was like, hey, you can do both. You can actually have an active, healthy lifestyle. You can have balance. You can go outside. I go for hiking. You can go to the gym, CrossFit, train, whatever your style of training is, gymnastics, pogo sticking, right? But then you can still be a hardcore gamer. You can play for hours a night, and it's all about balance and setting limits. And I think that's what makes gaming as a hobby better now. Like, as opposed to if I look back when I was younger, the stigma almost was, you know, gamers are underground, you know, gamers are in the dark, we're in the basement, you know, lights off, dark rooms, game all day. And that was almost promoted as the culture, versus now there's this whole touching grass, and, you know, it's a bit of I think it's been around, a year now or something like that. I've seen it trending a lot online, a lot of other gamers doing it. I think I literally saw Loserfruit or someone like that, I can't remember, do a post about it, touching grass. It was a Red Bull thing. And it's really cool that you're promoting that to the younger age demographic, because that's not something that was promoted to me when I was a young gamer, and I did develop a lot of unhealthy habits and almost a bit of a negative, toxic relationship with gaming, because I was like, well, I can't do gaming because that's I'm not going to be healthy. Do you know what I mean? But then getting the balance as I got older, you can do both. So I've got a lot of time for that.
It's also not about losing track of time, because we all know, like, we jump into a game, and what we say, we're going to jump in for a couple of hours and play that. Next thing you know, it's been 5 hours, and we play. So it's moderation, and it's making sure that we do take our time to go outside, get some fresh air, you know, and see a bit of sunlight and touch grass.
No, I agree 100%. I think I don't know where touching grass came from, and
neither do I. If anyone does, please chuck it in the chat.
And well, yeah, 100%. And as you know, I've only been doing this since January 19th, 2022 was when I started the YouTube channel. But I was always big on sport and big on getting outside, and I guess it was a bit easy for me because I was never a hardcore gamer. Like, I grew up, the games I played in the 90s, I've already wheeled off a few, but I was a sporty guy. I played 2K. I got NBA 2K from 96 all the way to 2022 or something on like GameCube. You know,
it was your religion.
Exactly, on the Wii, PlayStation 1. You know, and I that was what I played like for a long time. And my kids again didn't like the sports. I made them play tournaments with me, and they hated it because I'd beat them by 100. You know, but again, as I got into more like games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Fallout 4 and The Last of Us 1 and 2, you know, I fell in love with gaming. But I was always able to play for 2 or 3 hours at a max, but I ended up playing like every night for 3 months. And that's sort of how it...
And then doing 24-hour streams.
Oh, yeah. Well, my next 24-hour stream will be when I hit 2,000 subscribers. So fingers crossed we can hit the 2,000. We're like 360 to go. Hopefully we can get there.
That's going to be soon.
I hope so.
It's going to be soon. Get your sleep.
But look,
get prepared.
Knock on wood, isn't it? This one or that one?
Yeah.
But we have a saying in our community, we call bush is life. Instead of touch grass, we call it bush is life.
Yeah, okay.
So get in a bush. Because Fortnite related, you hide in a bush.
Yeah.
In fact, Ghost Avoid, one of my regulars, wants me to make a T-shirt of a bush with me hanging out, like Homer Simpson coming out of the bush. Maybe one day.
I'm down.
I'll talk to your wife.
Yeah. We'll get some custom merch.
We'll get some custom merch on.
And I want to just go back quickly and touch on when we're talking about how to deal with hate comments and negativity and that I love that the underlying theme to all of it is gratitude and feedback. Like, whether the feedback's negative or not, it's still feedback, and you're like, how can I take that, as you said, take a negative and turn it into a positive and bring that feedback on board? And at the end of the day, you have the gratitude element for, oh, thank you for dropping a comment. Like, I think it's a really cool way, and for anyone out there that's looking to tackle, you know, negative comments or worried about being a streamer or worried about getting the hate, it's actually that easy. It's as simple. It's 100% how you view it and your perspective to the whole situation. So that's kind of powerful again. Like, I really, really like that.
Respect.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So before you were doing 24-hour streams, right? Because I have to know, I've done a little bit of streaming myself in the past, and I don't know about you, but I found it. I was just staring at the 0 bar for a very, very long time. I think like one person came in, one person left, and the other person was my other screen watching my own stream. Talk to me about the grind. Talk to me about the journey. I want to hear that. I want to hear, how did you have 100 people on your channel day one?
I was infamous for my grind, and ask anyone who knows me from the start. Like when I started, and Drew and I were playing The Last of Us. That was the first game we ever streamed on Twitch. And Drew and I didn't care about viewers. We didn't know what we were doing. We just started a Twitch stream, started playing The Last of Us on Grounded, so the hardest mode you could actually play it on. Wow. And we get occasionally 1 or 2 people come in for a chat from the other side of the country, other side of the world, but it didn't bother us. Drew would be playing and I'd be chatting because I wasn't really a game. Like I liked the game, but I really like the interaction.
Well, we need to get into the name for that, I think.
The
SebTries2Play.
The tries to play. So for a long time it was 0, but it didn't deter us. We were still playing games. And any advice I give to anyone who wants to be a streamer is don't care about the 0. Care about the 1. If there's a 1 and they're chatting, chat to them.
Yeah.
The game's secondary. If you want to be a streamer, the game is secondary.
Yeah. It's about community, right?
It's
about building that community and those followers and
100%. So I will happily die over and over and over again while chatting to someone because I want to build a rapport. I want to build a relationship. I want them to feel comfortable hanging out with Seb. Sorry, third person now. Hanging out with me. I don't usually do that.
it's fine.
Because I want them to come back and I want them to join in. I want them to be part of the community. And I'd never watched a streamer in my life apart from my mate, and I never watched him until I started streaming. So I didn't know who Loser Fruit was. I didn't know who PewDiePie was. I'd never heard of any of these people. I watched YouTube for new rock stars, for things I may have missed out on Marvel movies. They do like a retake of what you may have missed. Yeah. That's all I ever watched on YouTube. I didn't even realise YouTube could make money until I started doing it. Yeah, I didn't know who Mr. Beast was.
Wow.
That's how bad I was at YouTube.
There's people in the live that are going to be spinning out about that.
Well, I mean, my kids were watching him all the time and I just wasn't into it. Like, I'd watch The Walking Dead TV show with my wife or, Game of Thrones. That's our thing. We'd get home from
TV
work.
TV series and things like
Correct.
that. Yeah.
Now I never see my wife. I'm always streaming.
But at least you know she's still watching.
Exactly.
Exactly right. Yeah, there's still the connection there, just through a screen.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Cool. So, the grind was long. You looked at 0 players. You're playing with your son. Obviously, the whole father-son element, gaming with family, building the connection, that was the main part of the early days. When did it tip? When did you... Because, as you said, you're about to try and get 2,000 subscribers and you're 300 away, so you've come a long way from 0 viewers. When did it tip? How did it feel? How did you process it? How did your stream change and how did your community change and how did you adapt to that whole environment from just, effectively playing games in the house, hanging out, nothing too exciting going on to, I have all these people and I have this community, and as we talked about, you had these toxic elements come in. Like, how did you adapt to that? And I want to understand the lifestyle changes you had to go through because I'm certain you don't just stream one night a week for an hour or so. Talk to me about the balance of that, the growth, the commitment, everything. I want to go to the meaty side of the journey now.
Okay, so where it really hit off was when I committed it like 100%. So at the start we streamed a couple of times, and then I tried to make YouTube videos. So I actually started before I was streaming on Twitch, and I was making Supercoach videos on my YouTube channel because I was into sports, yeah. So I made a couple of YouTube Supercoach videos, got a couple hundred views here and there, and I thought that was great. I really enjoyed editing, and I loved editing videos. So I'd be picking my Supercoach team, and I'm picking Lance Franklin, and there's him kicking a goal. Like I got good at that, and I really enjoyed it. But when I committed to streaming full time, and Audrey and I sat down and had a chat about it, and she committed, and I've got to shout my wife out because she's my biggest supporter. Without her, I wouldn't have done it. Like, in all honesty, she backs me. She's the one who reminds me. She goes, "Are you going to stream tonight? Your community's going to miss you. It's the second night in a row you haven't streamed." And I'm sitting there
Stream
going,
manager.
Well, she's my merchandise manager, actually.
Yeah. That's cool.
So it was a commitment that not only myself but the boys put in. Because I said to her, if I'm going to play, and I'm in my studio, so I've got my own office, they've got their own PCs and PlayStations in another room, I want you to play with me. So if I'm going to play, I want you to play with me. So we're picking games like Roblox. We're playing, Fortnite, your Red Dead Onlines, anything that I can play with other people. And the commitment of playing almost every night of the week. And I'm talking some nights 7 nights, some weeks 7 nights.
How many hours? Like, talk to me.
Oh.
What hour commitment are you putting in per week, roughly?
In lockdown, I'd start at 4, finish at 10. Because I was home.
Yeah,
I finished
7
work.
days a week.
Finish work.
Yep.
Because I'm at home, I finish work earlier. Because I'd
Yeah.
get stuff done quicker.
Yeah. That's what we all say in lockdown. Yeah. I can focus better from home.
I don't need to go to the office. And it grew that way because we're committing, and everyone knew Seb's going to be on playing Fortnite that night. It's Wednesday fortnight, and I'd get all of a sudden. Drew had all these friends that would join in, and the people from America would click on YouTube streamers Fortnite. Oh, can I join in? Yep, add me. And I just one by one, people adding me on Fortnite. And it sort of became a rule that if you wanted to play with us, you've got to subscribe. So all I'm asking is a free subscribe and come play with us. And they just, every one of them, just one by one, 2, 3, 4, 50. And all of a sudden I've got 100 subscribers and playing with 20 kids on a Saturday for 6 hours. Do you know what And that's sort of how it evolved. And then...
How did that feel?
Look, it was very odd because at first, the stigma of a grown man doing what I was doing, I didn't know anything about it. But then it felt so natural because I was doing it with my kids.
Yeah.
You know, in that sense, it's always been fun. And then one night, like on a Monday night, I'd finish work pretty early, started a Fortnite stream, and I had 100 people watching. Like, my views just went 105, 100 to 120. And everybody who was watching my stream was like, oh my God, you got 120 people watching your stream. And all of a sudden, subscribe, joined. I've got 30 people playing Fortnite with us. And that was real consistent for a long time. And then as that happened, I decided that, okay, I need to find a way to keep these guys. So I built a Discord. Because community... How do they get to chat to me when I'm not playing?
Yeah, when you're offline.
Exactly. Started a Discord. I've got 153 people in my Discord, and again, I interact more than everyone else does because I'm sort of like the person that starts the conversation.
Well, you have to be. It's your community. Yeah, you have to look after
100%. But I feel an obligation to them all because they're my team. They're my, you know...
They're a family.
Correct. And if I put polls in there saying, what should we play this week? And I put 5 or 6 games and they all vote on it. So one week we could play Fallout 76, Red Dead Online, Dead by Daylight. Fortnite always gets in. Everyone picks Fortnite. Roblox. And then the next week it'll be Destiny 2, Apex Legends, Valorant, War Thunder. Do you know, every week's different. And then occasionally I'll be like, okay, I need to pick a game like God of War came out last year. That's the kind of game I can get my teeth into. Like it's an amazing game. So I said, you know, I'm going to put 2 nights a week into that until I finish it. And I had some of my biggest views on me playing a single player game because people wanted to actually watch a brand new game. So there you go. Yeah. You get an idea. Okay, what's the next big game coming out? I'll just add that. Not all the time. I don't want to lose my community games. Yeah. But you do that once, twice a week, and it just adds the interaction. And again,
I suppose it's a bit easier to interact as well with your online viewers when you're playing that solo game as well. Like, you're not having to focus on the community you've got on the game plus your community that's watching, whereas a solo game you're just focusing on that one element. So I suppose there's a bit more interaction as well, especially like God of War and that. Like, a lot of people jump into that stuff because they want to know how you play it or what to do, or even assist streamers when they're running through and trying to get stuck at a part, and they go, you've got to go up around the rock and find a chest or something. So, like, that builds a community in itself as well.
Yeah, the game playthrough stuff. The amount of quests I've worked out how to do that I get stuck on in games because I'm watching someone else play the game and I'm like, oh, that's how that was done, or that's how that was done. Like,
or I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, literally, because my whole thing is Sebby's trying to play. Everyone tells me how to do stuff. Like, seriously, God of War, if I hadn't had Jay the Menace, Raven, Flux, Drew helping me out, I don't reckon I would have finished it.
Yeah, wow.
Because there's chests you can't find, or there's how do you kill this guy? Oh, you should jump on the ogre, get the ogre to kill the other 3 things, because I'd always go after the three monsters or whatever, and the ogre would kill me. You know, that's the community.
Absolutely.
And 100% right. And, you know, so I always try and pick up. I'm now looking at the next big game, what's coming out. So Hogwarts came out. I played that a little bit. Not as much interest. I don't know whether it was because it's Harry Potter. Good fun game though. But the next one I'm doing is Star Wars and the Force Awakens, I think it's called.
When's that start? When's that come out?
Next Friday, 28th.
Next Friday the 28th?
That's 2 Fridays, sorry.
Is there any exciting streams involved for that?
Well, I've pre-purchased it. I'm downloading it on that day and playing it all day. So that might lead into our next show.
Maybe we'll talk about Star Wars.
Maybe Star Wars.
Maybe we'll talk about Star Wars.
How much Star Wars have you watched, mate?
Star Wars.
No swearing on this show. No, that's cool. That's really, really cool. I like your whole story as a whole, and you've come from not playing many games, being a dad, going through life, emotions, so on and so forth, working for the man, so on, and then you've made this radical lifestyle change, it seems almost, to spending more time with your kids, understanding gaming, like as your name says, Seb tries to play. You're clearly not Seb Pro at games, so that's cool in itself. But it's like you've gone on this continuous learning journey, but at the same time you're trying to do something good with it and build a community and take people along the way. Like, hats off to you, man. That's really cool. Like, I like that. If you had any advice, if there's anyone watching that's like, maybe I should get into streaming, or I want to bridge the gap into gaming more, or I want to connect with, in your example, I want to get a better connection going on with my kids and playing games and stuff, what would you say? What if you could give some tips and tricks and advice to anyone that may be paying attention? What is it?
Just do it.
Just do it. Nike.
Just
full Nike spec it.
Nike. Back to the Future reference there.
This video is going to get taken down now.
Look, I get asked a lot of it for advice from heaps of people. I've got a kid from the UK, Turtle. He's actually commenting at the moment. Really awesome kid, and loves to do edits and YouTube shorts. And he's down in the dumps at the moment because he's not getting any views. And he wanted me to shout him out, and I said to him, "Look, I'm happy to shout you out. I don't care. You've been a part." He's probably one of the.
Shout him out. Who are we shouting out?
Turtle, A Turtle from the UK.
A Turtle, everyone follow A Turtle. Jump on it.
Legend. Probably he almost would be in the first 100 subscribers I ever had. And
wow.
That's
the OG from the start.
Oh, mate, I wish I could make an OG shirt and give it to the first 100. Because honestly, the first 100 would still be part of the biggest part of my community, I reckon.
That's cool.
And he said to me the other day, like yesterday or the day before, just in a Discord or in a chat or a comment, that he was a bit down, he's going to take a bit of break. And I said to him, why? I go, just keep uploading. I had a video I uploaded in February of last year, so a month after being a streamer, and it got like 100 views. And someone must have watched it this week, and all of a sudden I got 1,200 views and 11 new subscribers from a video I did 13 months ago. Yeah, well, and it wasn't even a good edited video. I jumped in.
Someone found it interesting.
They did, and it just, because that's what it prompts. One person watches it, it gets sent to the next person. Then all of a sudden they've watched the whole thing. The next person, and then all of a sudden the
algorithm starts to pick up. There's some traction on that, and it might start resharing it to different people.
But it shares the next video, and then all of a sudden videos that I had back in March last year are getting rewatched again, and it's all it takes. And again, if I had have worried about who was watching me, how many subscribers I had, I would have given up in January 25 last year, and there's no point to.
And just stick at it, just do
have
it.
Fun.
Yeah, and that's a lot of like what we do with our content strategy as well. Is it's just post, just have fun. Don't make it all promotional. Don't do that. Try and make it value based. Try and either entertain someone, make them laugh. Try and make it even informative from your own perspective. Your personal opinion, not you must. And I think that's so true that if you just do it and you post from your perspective and you just do what you like to do, good things eventually happen.
100%.
And it's unpredictable.
Oh,
don't try and predict it. I want to add that in. That's like, don't try and predict this stuff. Like,
don't look at numbers.
Yes.
I'm part of a community of adults that all want to be YouTubers.
Yep.
And we all just feed off each other. And I'm sort of like the higher amount of subscribers. I've been probably doing it the least. A lot of these people make long form videos.
Yeah,
so they're not streamers. So it's a bit harder sometimes to watch hours and views, and a lot of them aren't monetized yet, and they keep sending in our group chat their subscriber numbers. Oh, I lost 4 subscribers last night, and oh no, I've got another 11, and all of a sudden I've got 1,000, but now I've got 990. And I just had to write to them, you got to stop looking at that number. Like, the only time I care about that number is when I've got more subscribers. Occasionally it might go down.
Yeah, and it does. The followers, Instagram, TikTok, it doesn't. It all fluctuates.
If someone's subscribed to you and they haven't watched your channel, YouTube will take them off you. They have an algorithm that because they've got bot accounts. People have,
Correct. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Bots, right?
So don't care. Like, don't worry about it. I lost 15 subscribers once during a 24-hour stream.
Yeah, wow.
So I had 1,000. I hit 1,000. Did a 24-hour stream, and I lost 15 subscribers. So I went under 1,000. So I'm doing a 24-hour stream to celebrate 1,000 subs, and I've just gone straight down. But what it was, I must have had 15 people that subscribed and never watched anything.
Yeah.
Or may have watched one.
We just don't know, especially with bot accounts. Like, they're everywhere and they follow everything and they do what they want. They could just get deleted or deactivated in wherever they've come from. Like,
Or my streams come up and they've gone, oh, what ugly bloke is that? And unsubscribe.
I accidentally subscribed to that one.
I've done that before where I've gone, am I subscribed to this guy?
So just do it. Don't pay attention to the numbers. Is there anything else for people that are looking to jump into this? Like, I think there's a massive grain to, if you can do it, anyone can do it. Like, obviously it's such a young people. No, I know, but just, and what I mean there is you're not the stereotypical YouTuber you see these days, or the up and coming gaming YouTubers. A lot of them are young, a lot of them are in uni. They're in that mid 20 to 30 category.
Call me old.
A little bit. Wise. But,
Gandalf.
but you've proven it. And I think that's really, really cool, that there is no age limit. It is a completely diverse community, the gaming community. And as long as you're passionate about what you're doing, you have good intentions at your core, anyone can do it. I think that message needs to come out more. You don't need the latest tech. As you said, you started on a PS5. You don't need the craziest mics. You don't need the best webcam. You don't need to be really good at games. You just need to be yourself.
Look, I think the last piece of advice I could give everyone is make sure you're having fun.
Yes.
Because there's no point doing something if you're not enjoying it. And I've seen people stream for the sake of streaming. I've streamed for the sake of streaming. And you're not going to give the community or the people who want to watch you the service they deserve. So mental health's huge. If you need to take a break, take a break. If you're not enjoying a game, don't play it. Because there are some games I've been asked to play. I played them and I've gone, this is shit. I won't name any of it because a few of the boys in our chat, I played with them, and but I'll give any game a go. But you got to have fun with it. Like, there's nothing worse than sitting there for 2.5 hours playing a game for other people, and you can't give 100% then. Do you know what I mean? If you're not enjoying something,
do what makes you happy.
100%.
Yeah, get up and do what makes you happy.
That's it.
That's cool. That's cool. Have you got anything else you want to add to the end? I think we're coming to the end of our first episode of Life Plus Gaming.
The only thing I'd sort of take in is you can start at any age. That's the big thing that I take out of seeing you start streaming. Seb. Like, it's not a young person's game. It's not a middle-aged game. It's not an older people.
I feel better about my comment now.
Yeah. no. But where I'm heading with it is, it's never too late. It's never too early to get into streaming. And I think as long as you're doing everything you sort of mentioned previously, watching your mental health, making sure you take your breaks, making sure that you are promoting a non-toxic environment,
fostering a good community.
You can have a lot of fun online and build an online family in a stream like you do. So I think
I think probably the last thing I would say on that part is making sure you spend time with your family.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I have a very loving wife who, when I'm not streaming, I'm with her. And then after I finish streaming, I'm with her. The boys, I'm with them all the time, whether it's at home, streaming, playing, whatever. We're always together. But I'm a team with my wife. And if you have a partner, make sure you put your time into them as well, because you see the jokes of the gamers where they're playing and the wife cracks it. Either get a wife who games.
We're going to do a whole episode on that.
Oh, we got Jesus, divorce
over
Fortnite. So I mean, yes, put all your effort and make sure you're having fun, but there's more to it as well. You got to make sure that your energy is being, as you said earlier, you were asking me about how I balance it all. I just put time into everyone. I take days off where I would, like Monday night's usually the night where I don't do anything. I don't stream. It's me and it's Audrey and my time. We'll watch a TV show, watch a movie, talk shit, sit on the couch next to each other, looking at TikToks.
Yeah.
Seb's TikToks.
Editing TikToks.
I do watch my own TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, but it's important because if I didn't do that, I don't, you know, we've got a good relationship anyway, but not everyone has that relationship, so you got to make sure you put that in there. It's
You look after your circle.
100%, man.
Look after your circle.
And you're part of it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Well, look, for those of you that don't know, Seb is going to be co-hosting the show for as long as we do this show. He doesn't know that yet, forever. Whilst we're doing this with Plus Gaming. But I personally just want to say thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm so grateful to have you as our first guest / co-host. But there's been so many cool insights in there. There's so many things that are from the heart. There's so much passion. And the whole anti-toxic culture and not... The thing that I really like the most from everything we just discussed is you're not all about the viewers or the followers. That's not what it's all about. It's about promoting a healthy community and a positive gaming community. And I think that message just needs to be spread so much